evening. I'm Father Russ Carmichael, and of course, this is Street Talk. And thank you for letting us back in your show. I'm on the show in your house. Thank you very much. Across from me, as usual, my co-host Dominic here again tonight.
Always good to see
and
you.
with us tonight, I could say another ball and chain, but I won't do that. We have Michelle.
Hi, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, right? But I'm so glad that Michelle is on the show tonight because we're going to talk about health. Like the last thing I need to hear about is about losing weight. And Dominic's wife is a health coach. She has a science background, and tonight we're going to talk about her new endeavors and what she's done. And she's going to tell us, I know that at one time you were a little chunky, right?
A lot chunkier. I was almost 80 pounds overweight.
Almost 80 pounds overweight.
I've lost 78 pounds now.
And you've lost 78 pounds.
In the natural way. That's why I like to talk about it so much, because I didn't have the stomach stapling. I didn't go on the crash diets. I tried all that in the beginning, but it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. So, I did it the right way, went to the gym, started eating right, and, it finally does work.
Well, Father's fought with weight all his life, up and down. Everything else was athletic. All my kids are athletic kids. None of my kids have the problem that I've had. And of course, my daughter Angie, my daughter Angie.
She's very fit too. And it's hard. That's the problem with the United States today. I mean, you have fast food. Everybody's trying to run to their jobs and everything else. And a third of adults in the United States are obese, obese, and a third of the children are obese or overweight. You're eating the junk foods, the prepackaged foods, this and the other thing, because you got to get to school, got to get to work, whatever. And people just, eat that horrible thing.
As I like to say, spiritually, I'd like to be more like the Dalai Lama. Physically, I'd like to be a little less like Buddha. So,
but I'm working on you, and I'm going to whip you into shape too. I'm going to challenge you. Yes.
Yeah. You're going to try and get me into shape.
Oh yeah.
Both you and my well, I have more than one daughter that are runners. Okay, and state champion runners. You're a runner. You're right.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I keep saying about my background, because in high school, I didn't do any sports. I didn't do any fitness at all. Hated gym. I mean, I couldn't stand it. I was a geek. I was the straight A student. I was the good girl, did all that kind of stuff. And, now today, I decided to start, walking. I was watching Biggest Loser, and I said, if they could do it, I could do it. They're 300-400 pounds overweight. So I started walking. I started, going to the mall after my son was born, and just started walking, and then power walking, and then I tried running. And I mean, honestly, I'm a very bad asthmatic. I mean, ask my husband. I mean, still it's not great, but so I decided to start running because they were running on Biggest Loser. Well, 10 seconds into it, I'm on the side of the road dry heaving. So, it doesn't come overnight, and that's what I keep telling people. You have to keep trying. Like, I started the Couch to 5K program. It's an online free program. It tells you how often you should run, how long you should run, like 10 seconds on for running, and then like 20 seconds off in the beginning, and then, walking, and then go back and forth till you're running more than you're walking, and then you're running. And I did it, and now I'm placing second in 5Ks. I did my first full marathon, as you know, this year.
You did.
I mean,
you
I'm doing mud runs,
mud runs,
the mud runs are crazy. I mean, I'm getting my husband now to do it,
She got me to do these Spartan runs.
The Spartan are my favorite now. It's where it breaks you down till you can't move afterwards.
Didn't they just have one up in Boston, right?
I did the Fenway one,
Fenway one.
And you ran on the field.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Right? Yeah.
It was a great experience because I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. Sorry if I offended anybody, but
well, you didn't
I'm
offend
a huge
anybody
Red
over
Sox
here.
fan. No. He's a Mets fan, but that's okay.
Yeah, well,
But
She'd
you
have to
know,
go out on the field and test to see if the grass is spongy.
that's
like the movie Fever Pitch.
yeah.
I know you haven't seen any movies,
No,
but, you know.
yeah.
But it was fantastic, and be able to do, you know, my dream is to become a personal trainer, and that's actually what I'm studying now. I'm doing the personal training side. I'm also doing the fitness nutrition side. So, you know, because it's 20% exercise, it's 80%, you know, diet. And I'm not saying diet where you have to diet. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, a serious lifestyle change, you know, and of course I want to talk about the you're going to do the coaching type of thing.
Yes,
that you're involved in. Obviously, my co-hostess, who is an on Bonnie, that she's a life coach and does that, and in similar, she's also a runner, another runner. That's why I like to walk. I can't run anymore.
But you don't have to be a
I
runner
was just
to
going to
lose
say,
weight and be fit.
no, you do not have to.
You don't have to, you know, go to a gym.
That's
You don't
exactly
have to,
right.
you know, have a ton of equipment. And ask my husband, we have a ton of equipment at home because my son has a rare genetic disorder.
Right.
I can't get out all the time. It's more of a necessity than anything else.
Exactly.
I go downstairs, I get on the bike, I get on the treadmill. You don't have to run on a treadmill.
No.
You can walk, power walk, as long as you get your heart rate up. That's the main thing.
So you laugh because the basement actually used to be my office. And so
It's
I
not
built
anymore, it's my
I built another
office.
wing to the office, and all of a sudden, one
All
piece of
the fitness
equipment morphed into about 15 or 20 different pieces of
Yeah.
equipment. Now it's the whole side of the basement is all of her workout equipment stuff.
But now my son goes and works out with me, and
Which
he
is-
calls
which is-
himself my coach.
Which is good. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, all of my kids, I made sure, would take some form of athletics, would do some form of exercise, different than I made sure with all of them. It just happened to be that most all of them are runners because, you know, a lot of reasons was because of where we lived at different times, where we were, and not having equipment. Everybody thinks you need this ton of equipment.
Yeah, and gym membership and the
all,
clothes
all this, and that's not true.
No, you need a good pair of sneakers to run. That's really it. You can
Right.
run in sweatpants
That's right.
and a t-shirt. I mean, everybody's got a t-shirt. You know, you don't have to have equipment. You can go to the park and do the monkey bars. You could do push-ups. You could do sit-ups. You could do lunges. I mean, body weight training. That's all it is.
But both you and I, just before we come on the TV here, we were talking. You cannot work out
A bad diet.
a bad diet,
You cannot out-exercise a
Right.
bad diet.
and
I
this
mean,
is
if
what
you
you're
have
dealing with.
3
now.
hours in the gym. I used to ask him when I was trying to get pregnant, you know, originally, I would spend 3 hours in the gym and I would just keep on, you know, going. But the bad diet won. You know, I lost maybe 5 pounds, but that was it. I was still overweight and I couldn't understand why. When you know, all it is it's a science. That's all it is. Calories in, calories out. You know, get a good pedometer, get a good calorie monitor. Like we were talking before we started,
Right.
you know, like a tracking program. I like MyFitnessPal. You download it onto your smartphone or your computer, and it's a free app, and you put in all your, you know, calories that you ate for the day. The thing is, I say it's a science because it's macronutrients. If you eat the correct amounts of protein and carbohydrates and fats, you could eat. I eat a 2,000 calorie diet. I mean, that's huge for a woman my size.
When we're talking, okay,
And I'm fine.
Okay, when we're talking, and we got our viewers out there, okay, what is protein? We got viewers, okay.
Yeah.
Most of our fitness
That's what I
people.
wanted to go into.
Yeah, most of our people are not fitness people.
Exactly.
And fitness people all throw around macro this, macro, and they don't tell you, well, what are they? The average person, when you're talking protein, doesn't know the difference.
They think
between-
chicken nugget.
There you go. Okay.
You know? Well, and that's what I wanted to go over too. I mean, honestly, you know, everybody says, "Oh, I don't have enough money to eat correctly," and this, that, and the other thing, so I just eat crap. I mean, honestly,
Right.
Prepackaged foods.
Right.
I don't think it's the money. I think it's the education, like what you're saying now.
Exactly.
And I think it's the culture. You know, I mean, more Hispanics and blacks are overweight because they like, you know, the fried foods. It's what you grow up with. In other words, what your
gotta
culture
throw us
is.
Italians in there too. You know what I
Italian,
mean?
seriously,
Yeah, it's
every
exactly-
single nationality has something. I don't
Exactly,
care
right.
what, you know,
Yeah,
what it is. So, I mean, you know, if you eat all fried foods growing up, that's what you're going to want to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so.
See, now most people think the protein just comes in, you know, one form. I mean, obviously, not the chicken nugget, but those are like your, I guess, your steaks.
Well, people just eat the chicken. And vegetables, and that's it. And
Right.
you know, the thing is, you could eat, you know, lean proteins, proteins like lean chicken, lean turkey, fish. You could eat a lot of fish too. Chicken is the best protein, but you can eat lean beefs. You know, they usually say grass-fed beef is the best. But, you know, stick away from the meats that have hormones in them also. I mean, that's, you know, a big thing is the chemicals. Like I said, the prepackaged foods, you know, the hormones, you know, even in the chemicals, like if you're microwaving in plastic, the chemicals get into your food. It's the education part,
Exactly,
like I'm
right.
talking about. For carbs, you know, I was just talking to somebody before the show, and honestly, you can eat a lot of carbs. I eat tons of carbs. Ask him, but it's the carbs in vegetables. It's the good carbs like quinoa. You know, nobody knows what quinoa is, which I do recommend it. We haven't made it recently, but I love to make it. It's almost like, it looks like a rice almost, but smaller. And you boil it just like a rice, and they're like little, almost pods looking like things, and they open up kind of. But they taste like rice, and you could, then I saute it with a little bit of onions, mushrooms, tomatoes, whatever. You could Google it and find tons of recipes online. You eat your brown rice, brown pastas, you know, stuff like that. Gluten-free. I don't, you know, talk about that much because you can't really go completely gluten-free, but, you know, eat the gluten-free pastas. They're very good for you too. Like I said, good carbs are fine. You could eat tons of them. Fats, you should eat fats. Nobody should eat less than 50 grams of fat a day. And good fats like egg yolks, avocados. Instead of eating the regular oils, eat the safflower oil or the sunflower oils. You know, they're in Stop and Shop and ShopRite and all the common, you know, things like quinoa was never in the supermarkets. Now it is. Everything's readily available these days and cheap.
Well, that's the other side of diets. Most diets are expensive. When you start talking about laying out and what they want you to eat, and you start looking around, and it's costly.
Yeah.
And one of the problems with again, when you're talking about, especially when you're talking about most of my audience here in New London, okay. Serious overweight problem around this area. Okay, it becomes a financial situation.
In Connecticut's not even the worst.
Oh no,
It's not even close to the worst. It's more down south. Yeah,
Well,
the fried foods again. You know.
But when you talk about carbs, now, and I think people get very confused about this.
Okay.
Most people think carbs are just your breads, because that's
Right.
what people think that are in carbohydrates. So they think bread and they think pasta. But things like vegetables and fruits are actually carbohydrates
That's
too.
why I
They're
said that
more,
before. Yeah.
But what's the difference between a simple carb and what they call like the fruits and vegetables, which is
It's
a
just how you
complex
break
carb?
it down. And honestly, the simple carbs obviously are easier to break down.
So what do they break down into? Do they break
It
down?
breaks down into energy. The thing is, if you eat healthy carbs, honestly, it breaks down to energy. And like, if you are a bodybuilder, you should eat more proteins. If you're a runner, you should eat more carbs. Carbs are just like, I don't even know how to say it. Carbs break down to energy. Protein helps you build muscle. Fats also break down into energy also. So
do the complex carbs take longer to break down in your
yeah,
body?
they
This
go
way they're not giving
to
you
stored
that.
fats more.
I mean, I think like, you know, like I eat the Italian bread, and it's like it's the quick sugar. It goes spikes right to sugar.
Because the white breads versus
Yeah.
the brown breads, the wheat breads, yeah, it'll spike your sugar really fast. But when you eat the wheat breads, it's not so bad.
Well, my question is, if you get an old guy like me, okay, I'm no longer...
You're not old.
I'm not...
And you're very active, so that's good.
I'm not old.
So you have a good basis right there.
My audience knows I'm 70 plus, so they consider that old. But I can't run
I'm 40.
anymore.
I'm considered old too.
I can't run anymore. Okay, replaced hip replacements. I just lost 65 pounds a year and a
And that's
half now
fantastic.
because of the hip being put, the new hip. Okay, but okay, I did that. I probably put on 15 of that. I'm probably lying here. Okay, back on because I discontinued my walking program for a couple of months just because of being extremely busy. So you get somebody like me at my age and everything, and I say, where do you go? Okay, I'm not going to be, well, I did replace muscle because I atrophy set in the legs, so muscle come back on and stuff like that. So there was a need for certain foods. What do you say to somebody like me at my age, and I want to drop 20?
Honestly,
What do I eat? What do I do?
I mean, with the hip, you could walk, correct?
Yeah, I can walk.
And you could power walk, right?
No, I can't power walk.
Okay. But you could still walk. And I mean,
can walk.
You know, instead of sitting on the couch, you walk. You could do a lot of upper body training, you know, lifting weights, stuff like that. Obviously, and I need to say this, anybody needs to go by their doctor's orders first. You know, you can't just run out to a personal trainer, and if they tell you to run and you can't run, don't do it.
You can't
Honestly,
run.
I mean, that's rule number one, follow your doctor's orders. But, you know, you could walk, you could, you know, you probably can't do lunges or stuff like that, but you can do upper body stuff that will get your heart rate up also. A lot of people and a lot of women don't want to do the weight training, they just want to do the cardio. Well, you could spend 1,000,000 hours walking and running, but you really need to build muscle at the same time. So for somebody like you, I mean, I know you, I know most of your medical history, not much, but you know, honestly, you could do a lot of walking for cardio, and you could do a lot of strength training. You know, like I said, I could sit down and show you how to do bicep curls, you know, all sorts of stuff. And honestly, that would help a lot. As you're lifting weights, your heart rate does go up. People don't believe that, but it does.
It does go up.
So it is a method of cardio also.
Cardio.
And also, I think muscle also burns more calories.
Well, now see
That's
what
the
I
other
was
thing.
gonna, what I was just gonna do.
Mus-
You must have felt. I said at my age, okay, I was going to direct her to her significant other and say, here you got a young guy, right? You know, he's getting ready to. Finozio hasn't.
And I'm training
answered
for
him.
that, too.
And I want
I'm
him
training
into
him
this,
for that.
fight in
I-
August.
I bought him
she warned
boxing
me.
gloves.
She's like, you get in there, you better win. Because you don't want to go through this whole thing and look stupid
Well, yeah, I mean, you know.
and lose in the ring. I said,
But-
I got some professional trainers that are actually looking
Yeah.
at me.
Because I'm doing a lot of strength training right now, you know, stuff like that. So I have him doing a program with me called T25, which I definitely recommend. But now for somebody like you, I mean, no offense, but you know, it's very high end. You know, you have to run around and stuff like that. Ask him, we're sweating afterwards. Simple programs that are, you know, 25, 30 minutes a day is, you know, doable. You have the time to do it.
Which is different from my normal course. I bought an elliptical machine, I guess it's probably some 6-7 years ago. So I can go on the elliptical. You know what? I can raise.
The elliptical is the best for the knees.
I can
if you have bad
yeah,
knees.
I can raise my you know, my heart rate and keep it up at a good pace. I'm very comfortable with it. But when I do like the exercise videos, the nice part about it for me, or the difficult part, is, you know, they got you doing these jumping up and down, going sideways.
Yeah, a lot
you know,
of plyo, which is
I look
jumping
like
jump.
I'm on a dance video for like MTV or something with the way these guys like go around with all this stuff. But you really feel how, you know, different parts of your body. I think when you lock into like one thing, like doing the elliptical, yeah.
That's the problem.
my-
Like you
my-
said, your
my
daughter is a
body's
runner.
Like one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just run. I know she
does.
doesn't,
Yeah,
but I mean, like
no,
a lot of people
no.
just run and they look emaciated.
Yeah,
They just, or the
right.
bodybuilders, and they're, you know, they can't put their arms down. I mean, you have to do a little bit of everything because, like you were saying before, muscle burns more calories than fat. So if you have more muscle, you're burning more, calories during the day,
Yeah,
so that's better.
We do cross training. Obviously, father is a coach. Went to Michigan, has his coaching degree.
So you know about this stuff.
Well, because of athletes, when you have an army of kids like I had, and they were athletic, I made sure that I educated myself to, what they were doing. I mean, I come out of a family that has boxers and stuff like that in them, so I am kind of aware of.
See, I didn't grow up like that.
You didn't grow up like that. I know that.
I ate TV dinners, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know. We didn't know.
But
the
cross
education
training.
is key.
And of course things changed over the years. Okay, we strained and gained when I was younger and stuff like that. And everybody did it, but did not know the scientific factors about food and what you ate. And if you're a football player, you eat like a pig, so you eat 5,000 calories a day.
Yeah. And then they would stop playing football, and they would
and see you
pork
later.
up. I mean, that's the problem.
My
Hate
brother,
to say that.
my brother is, was, top football players, stuff like that, big, and everything, linemen, and yeah, that's exactly right. So over the years, you're dealing with weight. The scientific stuff is basically what you are in the situation, and where
that's why I keep saying lifestyle change.
And the lifestyle change that you
like the Nutrisystems and all that, where you buy the prepackaged food and they tell you this is all that you eat and that's it. You have to go back to regular eating at some point.
Exactly.
And if you don't have the science, if you don't have the education,
you don't know.
You're going to fail and you're going to gain back. I mean, I did that for probably 6 months. And like you were saying about the people who've done football and stuff like that prior. I don't know if you've been watching Biggest Loser or anything, but this season, that's exactly what it's about. All the former fitness people, sports people, they did some were gold medalists in softball, football players in NFL. I think one was from the Dolphins. Then they stopped doing it and they gained the weight because they have that
most
mindset.
boxers and football players' life expectancy isn't that great.
No, not at all.
And the fact of the matter is, any of the sports that you do as a young man and stuff, you stop doing it and then you blow up. Okay, and then you've been used to eating like a pig, anything you wanted to when you was
because you're probably burning 10,000 calories a day.
And then all of a sudden now you get older and you can't do that anymore, and nobody helps retrain you, reprogram you to doing something that you can live with.
Well, that's why I like Biggest Loser, because they do talk about that kind of thing. I love Weight Watchers. I don't agree with the point system sometimes because they don't teach you about healthy calories.
What is the point system? I've never quite understood.
They figure out according to your age, according to your weight, et cetera, how many points you should have a day. For me, it's 26. So I could eat 26 points of food a day, and each food, like say a piece of pizza, I think is 8 points or something like that. Okay, so I could have 3.5 slices of pizza. That's it.
Except for the day.
Yeah, you could have your pizza and cake and all that, but that's all you could have for that day. I mean, can you imagine living on 3 pieces of pizza? I mean, that's
on me.
So that's the only thing. I mean, they are just starting to go into the healthy fats and drink more water. I mean, they have been, but I still go to Weight Watchers. I weigh in every month. I've stayed on goal, but because you need an accountability system also.
She gets it for free. That's what the deal is.
Yeah,
because
I hit goal
weight.
Right.
So as long as I stay at the goal weight, I get it for free.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm a lifetime member, which is what that's called.
Okay, that's
which is
cool.
fantastic. So now I still get to go to the meetings. I still get information and stuff, and it's great. So I mean, and the thing is, you have a whole group of people that you see every week or every month or whatever at the meetings, and you all know each other, and you're all supporting each other. And I made a lot of friends through that too. So, it's a really good group of women too. But they don't explain the healthy point system. They just explain the point system.
Well, see, I need
So I would
somebody
love
to explain to me how many chicken wings I can have on a given
Well,
night.
you do the trackers, right?
You know, and no, I don't. I know.
Okay.
It
The thing
it
is,
depends.
that's what I really want to do for people as a personal trainer for the nutrition aspect.
Aspect of it.
I have a few people I'm already working with. Sit down. This is okay. What's your age? What's your activity level? Are you a smoker? The whole rigmarole, and go through the whole thing and say, okay, well, this is how many calories you should have a day, and this is your macros, and which is the proteins, the fats, the carbs, stuff like that. And then you download the tracker, which is I use my FitnessPal and download that, put everything in every day. Everybody who knows me knows I'm constantly putting in my food into my food journal, I call it, and I know where I am, according to the day. But after a while, it becomes second nature. Like yesterday, I had pizza for lunch. I'll admit it, but I went easy at night, so it wasn't too bad. But you have to really. You have to keep an eye at, we went to a party the other night. I was still under calories and macros at the end of the night.
I wasn't.
No,
But, I know I could have, like, my friend James made these awesome stuffed breads. I had a couple little slices. It wasn't a big deal. I know I was still fine afterwards.
So basically, if I had a tracker, see, our co-hostess that isn't on, Bonnie does the food program and stuff like that. She's got a lot of people that follow her thing, and she's a life coach. She's tried to suck me into doing that, because she worries about, like Angie, like my girls worry about their father's blood pressure and his weight, and
because you can still change things. I don't care if you're 70-something.
I know that.
Within a year, all of your cells change, so you can actually change your whole lifestyle.
I've been thinking about the food program, okay? But occasionally, and at least once a week, I go to my favorite place, G's, which our local people know. I go down to G's and visit my friends down there, the owners and everything. And I want to be able to have my pizza.
And you can.
Okay, or I want to have my chicken wings, or the cake lady makes these great cakes.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God! Right. But I'm thinking every time
that I didn't know about.
Every time I have a piece of cake, I'm thinking. Well, and I even have Dee down there. She's a sweetheart. Cut the cake in half. But I'm thinking, God knows what I'm eating here, because I love this stuff. I might not be able to, eat for 2 days because of the amount of calories.
But that's the thing, you can eat still. Like I said, you can't. If you have one bad meal, it's not going to make you fat. If you exercise 1 day a week, it's not going to make you skinny. You have to do both all the time. You could have a cheat meal. I don't normally agree with cheat meals because with me, it's a very, very slippery slope. You have one cheat meal and then another and then another and another. So if you can't trust yourself, then you don't cheat. If you could have the pizza or the cake or whatever, and then eat a salad the next day, then great, then do it. It depends on you, whether you could handle it or not.
And by the way, I did eat the salad last week.
I'm looking across the table at your significant other, and I do. I follow a dietary regimen. I go back and forth, but I don't. I have cheating months.
See, that's the thing.
That's where
I have cheating months too, and I've had to corral myself to a point where I can't do that.
That's what I did. That's why I probably put on about 15 pounds. And now, but I start my diets the worst time of the year, holidays, because I know that if I can get out of the holidays, season without eating extensively and going, I'm good for about 3 months after that, and I'm good for the summer. And if I was gonna get into a bathing suit, which I don't anymore, but I could do that, and then at the end I start cheating again and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But salads, I'm a heavy salad person. I am.
But you don't have to eat just salads either.
I'm a heavy fish
I throw
person,
tons of stuff on my salads.
I do too.
Chicken, avocado, all sorts of stuff, and beans. Legumes.
Yeah.
You can eat that kind of stuff on there and still have a heavy salad and still be fine.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
don't, but I really don't. I really do believe that it is education and stuff like that, and I believe all cultural. What I'd love to see is a cultural type of things for different cultures, because almost all the cultures eat all good foods, but they just don't. They eat it with the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a way
Well,
to get around it.
That's what they're saying now, that the numbers are actually decreasing for, like, certain cultural groups, that they're eating healthier, that they're actually not as, the percentages are going down, in other words, of obese children, obese adults, which means that people are getting educated, which is fantastic. But like, I want to touch on what you said before about the holidays. Everybody eats whatever they want throughout the entire holiday. And then January 1st, you can't get into a Weight Watchers meeting and you can't fit into the gym. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't get a machine. Don't start January 1st, say, okay, I'm going to do it now, and then starve yourself. Do it before the holidays. I know we're close to holidays already, but do it before, not afterwards. Do your lifestyle changes beforehand, and stick with it. Like you said, have your cheats here and there, but stick with the lifestyle change. But I was saying the other day, it's like you have to have three things. You have to have the mindset to start. If you don't have your head screwed on with wanting to do this, and I'm not saying losing weight, but I'm saying be fit. You're not going to do it if you don't have your own head screwed on. Number two, you need support. If you don't have friends and family, like if your friends and family are, pushing cake underneath your nose, somebody did that to me recently. It's like, get it away. I don't want it. I really don't want it. And people don't believe me, but it's like, I don't need it anymore. But you also need the tools. You have to have, a tracker. You have to write it down. People think they're eating 1,500 calories and they're eating 15,000. Yeah. You don't know until you're educated. You have to have access to a gym or outside or something. Go outside and run, walk. Go to the mall at this time of year. Do laps. That's what I used to do. You can go to the playground, like I said, and do the monkey bars. Run around with your kid outside. Do something. As long as you have the tool set. And honestly, I know I'm becoming a personal trainer, so this is going to sound like a plug, but at least see a personal trainer once a month. It really helps. You need to learn form. If you don't have form in your exercise, you could hurt yourself. In other words, if you're doing lunges wrong or squats wrong, you can hurt your back.
Well, I believe in the personal trainer thing too. Obviously, my own children and some of my own family, we've had both. That they had a live-in personal trainer who who cooked
That's
for
great.
them and everything else, and was able to teach them the proper diets. Not that I ever followed them as their coach, but they knew what was right and were educated to the dietary facts, the working out facts, the cross training, and I'm blessed with all of my children, and that's an army. Were athletes and excelled and stuff. Okay, and the girls, all runners. State champion runners,
And that's fantastic.
and
But
obviously,
they grew up like that.
and they grew up like that.
What
that's
if
why
they
you
hadn't grown up like that? That's the people that I
well, I
wanna
didn't
work
grow
with.
up like that, so I made sure they
No,
grew
but
up
your
like
kids
that.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they know and they're educated to that. So it's nothing to them. They,
But most
Angie's
people
milk-
can't afford a
No.
personal trainer. That's where
Well, that's what-
I want to come in.
Well, that's what I'm talking.
I keep saying I
right.
want to change the world and make everybody more
exactly
fit.
right.
But nobody could afford it. They say, well, like I said, the foods aren't expensive. They're cheap. You could buy frozen vegetables instead of, regular fresh.
Yeah.
If you buy frozen vegetables, then at least it lasts much longer. If you don't need a personal trainer on you every day at the gym. You could do a personal trainer once a month in person,
Yeah,
and I
because you
plan on
need a
charging a
plan.
lot less than these people do.
You need to have a plan, and that's okay.
You
and that's
have- yeah, you have
that's
to have
why
a fitness
you
plan.
need to have the plan. You
Yeah.
need to have a written out plan.
And you have to have the nutrition plan and the macros written out. You have to have your stuff. And I'm going to do a lot of online training. I'm already doing stuff with a few girls. And just, work with them online
I
and show them
wanna
not personal form, good form, through Skype and stuff like that.
Right. I wanted Bonnie. I've asked Bonnie a couple of times over the years we should do a show. Okay, weigh in. do the program. I said I would be committed. She said, yeah. If she gets nervous, you'll be committed and you'll gain weight on me and not
Well,
follow
that's the
my
thing.
direction.
You have to follow the plan.
But I would, I obviously, I like this type of stuff. I think this is educational stuff that is really things that need to be out there, especially
has
for
to
the
be
younger.
addressed.
I want to do repeat shows about this type of thing, talk about the planning, and make sure that Michelle's on here. We get Bonnie on there with her information and what they're doing. And
I would love to
we'll
work
use
with you. That would be
you,
fantastic.
Dom, as the
I know
guinea
what you- I know where
pig.
you're
Oh, he's already my guinea pig.
I know.
I
it.
use him as a guinea pig already. I make his protein shakes. You know, I make big salads or baked chicken or whatever for dinner. I mean, I do a lot of that
it
stuff.
needs to be, well, I mean, two things I wanted to get back to. One was talking about, the education part. And I think when people hear fats, they don't understand that there's good fats and bad fats.
That's why I wanted to touch on that before.
The fried foods, are obviously
fats.
bad fats. What are good fats? I mean, because we all need these things. We get like certain vitamins and nutrients.
I actually made up a
Are
huge
all
list because I
fried-
knew
are
you guys
all
were going to ask me.
fried- Are all fried stuff bad?
Yes, even if it's even if it's fried in good oils, it's still a lot of oil.
Okay.
So you have to eat minimum of oils and stuff.
That's your chicken wings there, buddy.
Yeah. Stop the
So
chicken
fried,
wings. Stay away from the chicken
well,
wings.
I know people who make fried eggs.
Nuts are a good
Okay.
fat.
Oh, yeah, I would. Okay, nuts.
I mean,
okay.
anything, like I said, everything in moderation. Don't sit
Okay.
there and eat a whole bag of peanuts in one shot. But, egg yolks, avocados, olives, nuts, peanut butter, canola oil, olive oil, sunflower oil. Those are the three, actually the best ones are olive oil and
See now,
sunflower
like
oil.
whenever I look at
Coconut oil.
like peanut butter, I always see like it's like it might be like serving of might be like 260 calories, but then it
But
tells
it's like
me
only 2 tablespoons.
220 calories of that are like fat,
Yeah.
and the other
But
parts
that's
are protein.
still a healthy fat. I mean, you see a lot of bodybuilders and stuff on many of my groups just eating peanut butter, and
That's not
avocados
good?
and egg yolks. It's good to a point. Like I said, you shouldn't go under 50 grams of fat a day. Healthy fats.
Okay.
As a woman my size,
How do I measure this? I got to read this thing on.
you
all
got to
of
read
it?
the thing on the read the labels.
Okay.
Like
I
I
don't
said,
like to
start
read
with a
labels.
tracker. Once you get to a certain point, it's going to be a mindset, and you won't have to do it really anymore. But you really have to start with the tracker because you think you're probably eating 50 grams of fat, and you're probably eating 100.
No, when I go
Everybody's like that.
and what I hate is when I go on my diets, and I'm on one now. I just about started. Okay,
But you
I
shouldn't
have
consider
a book.
a diet.
Oh, well, whatever.
Lifestyle change.
Lifestyle. When I switched my lifestyle, in my kitchen, I have a book.
Lifestyles of the old and dysfunctional.
I have a book,
Rich and the famous.
my tracker, my journal, and I write. I had this egg this morning. Well, I'm not a breakfast person, but whatever I had.
But you're
I
writing
put-
it down, that's
and I
good.
write it down. And this is what lunch is, and this is how many calories. This is what it is. That's what it is. So I write down daily, and I have my mark 1,800. I'm an 1,800 calorie a day person, and then how much I walked, and everything else. I journal.
Yeah, I mean, it
I'm a
depends
heavy
on
journalist.
how much you're
You and
exercising.
her too.
Huh?
Yeah.
She's a journaler.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
write
a
down
jour-
everything I eat, how many calories
I'm
I
doing
burn.
it. 3 months. See you later. Throw it away, and then I close it and I leave it right there because I know that maybe in a month, maybe it's usually what usually happens. I'm a 5 to 10 pound person because I also weigh. I weigh daily and I blood pressure daily. So once I usually hit the 5 pound mark, I go back to my thing. Man, but this time I said forget it and just.
Well, I think
See, I don't even think you should weigh every day because, I mean, you have fluctuations in your body. Maybe you drank too much water, not enough the night before, everything like that. So, I mean, or had a heavy meal the night before. I say once a week, honestly,
That's
you
good.
know.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
what
it's healthier up here, too.
That's what people. That's what they recommend.
Yeah.
That's just my habit.
Yeah.
so
Well, if it works for you, that's great.
kind of like what you were talking about. The old school. If you look at a plate of food, I know my normal one is, I take a whole chunk of protein because I like my
He likes his beef.
I like my beef, chicken or whatever it is. I used to eat, what I call like the starchy kind of like food. So I try to stay away from the starches. Starches are like potatoes, breads. Those are like the starchy
White
foods
rice, pasta.
that really, from my understanding, turn very quickly into sugar in your body. And then I usually have a
And they
smaller
go right to the stored fat.
yeah, and I usually have a smaller amount of vegetables. But in essence, what I should be doing is I should be
opposite.
changing.
Yeah.
I should be having, the bigger portion of vegetables, the smaller portion of proteins, and maybe some better starches like instead of like you were saying, instead of the mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Oh, sweet potatoes is a huge, I mean, that's fantastic for you.
Yeah.
The white potatoes, will turn right to sugar.
But the other half of it too is portion size.
Yeah.
Because,
And that's why I was saying before to you, measuring, I have my food scale next to my sink, measuring is key because what you think is a cup is really like 5, So I mean,
I got the food scale right there. It's still in the
there.
box. Hasn't been taken out of the box for 2 years. It's right there.
Take it out of the box. Promise me you'll go home, take it out of the box,
Yeah, right.
and start weighing it and download the app.
yeah, my brother used to be so good at doing that with the scale and everything. I bought a scale, and again,
You
it's
knew
in
I
the
was going to
box.
beat on you today a little bit. I have to.
Yeah, a little bit.
well,
That's
I'm
okay.
lucky where I go to lunch, and they're
yeah.
actually gluten free, and they're very so they serve very good stuff, and they go by weight. So you pay like a certain amount by weight. So you can ask them then to put like this amount, and then I'll like ask them to throw like the vegetables and other stuff because they have a lot of healthier things. But it's nice because I get to see how much weight these things are actually, and I'm
learning.
surprised.
Yeah. Most people are shocked when they start. Like,
How
I
much
see
you
people
can
come
have.
into Weight Watchers
Exactly
and they're
right.
like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm eating healthy," and they're going way over their points. They're going way over their grams, of food. It's like crazy, pounds of food, And you have to really, and like I said, it depends on whether you're strength training. You should have more proteins. If you're doing more running, cardio, whatever, you should have more carbs. So it depends.
Well,
you know?
well, that's why
But-
the personal trainer. I mean, if you set up with a personal trainer, I like the way you're talking about. Where so even if you did it once a month, you had your trainer set you up with a program because it is individualized, and that's what people don't know.
And
If you
honestly,
get
things
an
aren't going
age-
to change too
Yeah,
fast either.
okay.
So,
Well, yeah,
once
yeah.
a month is adequate, I think, for
I-
the average person.
I like that idea, but
Yeah.
but you get somebody with disabilities and stuff like that, or age and
That's
everything.
different.
So you're dealing with one person. Then you get a healthy person that's just overweight. So you need an individualized.
You have to have
program
every plan tailored.
tailored to what you are.
Diet
Right.
and exercise.
Exactly.
And that's why, if you go onto my Facebook group, Mix, MIKS, MIX, Fitness, FITNESS.
Sounds like an Irish program.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
a
my
South
nickname
thing.
is Mick,
That's
so,
that's a South
MIK.
Boston mix.
Yeah.
We get all the people out there will get that. And our
But I
guys
put
in
tons
Southie.
of free whatchamacallit, recipes, different forms for different exercise. I do all this for free, and I'm also doing a lot of online coaching, also. So, separately, paid, but still, I mean, I'm charging bare minimum because I want people to be educated and learn this and, educate the next person. I mean, we shouldn't have a third of kids being obese or overweight.
Yeah, right.
That's where it starts. I want to eventually work with kids too and do some fitness programs, but I mean, that's, if they don't have the education from their parents, that's where you got to start. Educate the parents, you educate the kids, and we'll stop
Well,
the cycle.
We got a major problem with it in the country, so it's a field that needs a lot of work.
Well, I know one of the things that you do is you make the shakes for me in the morning. Now, I don't even ask what goes into these shakes.
You don't want to know.
So finally, I think I want to know what exactly. What are you feeding me? What are you putting?
Yeah, but
shakes
you'll never
in the
drink them
morning?
again. Now, mainly for shakes, I always recommend a protein shake mix. So I put that in. I like Body Fortress right now, but I'm looking into a couple other companies.
So like how many calories is like the protein? I'm just curious.
That's about
'cause
170
that's-
calories right there for the protein shake mix. One scoop is 28 grams of protein and about 170 calories. The rest of the stuff is not really much calories. I put a little bit of oatmeal because you need a little bit of carbs. Oatmeal is a fantastic carb also. Also, I put in wheatgrass.
Okay.
This is where I'm going to lose you. I think there should be a fruit or something like that to make it taste even better. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you, I make a cup of iced coffee in the morning, and then I put my protein shake mix in there, chocolate. So it's like a mochaccino.
Okay.
That gets me going in the morning because I have my caffeine.
So what are we talking
but
about?
in his, I do
what are we
like
talking about calorie-wise? Like
for
him?
his,
I mean, because I always feel
fruit-
like they're like thick.
well, because the oatmeal. But I've been cutting down on oatmeal for you because you're a diabetic. So, you know, I'm trying to cut. That's the other thing. Once you create a plan, you still have to change, you know, and adjust accordingly. So that's the thing. So, like yours is probably about 350. So, which is great. You know, for you, that's fantastic. Mine are about 270 because I weigh less and I'm less active, you know, so that works for me. But I always say, like, a fruit or something like that. And on my Facebook group, too, I'm going to plug that a million times here because I think everybody should be on there. But, you know, I give mix. If you go onto Facebook
Mix.
and look up Mix, Mix,
Okay.
M-I-K-S-M-I-X,
Okay.
you'll find my group. Or if you go on facebook.com/MIKS-MIX fitness, F-I-T-N-E-S-S. You'll find me that way too. You can put it into the browser. But, you know, I give a lot of protein shake mix recipes also. Like I said, whatever fruit works for you, like yours is usually like a banana and a couple strawberries, blueberries, stuff like that because you like the berries. The protein shake mix, wheatgrass, L-carnitine because it helps burn fat. That's pretty much it. You know, I mean, I really don't go crazy with yours. Mine, I do like the greens and stuff like that also. The kale.
Stuff I don't want to think.
Yeah, you'll never taste. You'll never like the taste. I know you won't drink them. You know, you're my husband, I know. But, you know, certain people love the spinach and kale and all that and shove it in.
See, I would have that.
Yeah, and you could buy that frozen. You don't have to buy fresh, so it'll never go to waste. It won't, you know.
Well, that's another good trick that I know that you use. You buy the frozen like fruits, like the berries.
That's
and
what I was
stuff.
saying before.
that's what I
Frozen
do,
fruits,
too.
Yeah.
frozen vegetables. You know, it doesn't go bad. You know, frozen broccoli, you could do a good.
I'm a blueberry fanatic, so I
buy the frozen.
I buy all my frozen blueberries.
And honestly, we eat bananas a lot, but you know they go bad so fast that I take them and I actually freeze them
people
and then
freeze them,
throw them into the shake,
Yeah,
so we
I
never waste them. You don't have to waste money to do that.
I was ordered by my cardiologist to eat the banana in the morning.
Throw it with a little bit of oatmeal, like a half a cup of
Well, I
oatmeal,
don't
quarter
know.
cup of oatmeal,
I'm
and some protein shake
a
mix.
fruit. In the morning, I'm really easy. Obviously, I eat a lot of blueberries because they are excellent for you, and believe it or not, there's non-toxic stuff they do and really help you with the
And it's a
blueberries.
natural sugar.
And it's a natural sugar.
But I was overdoing it at one point, and my sugars went sky high. I'm like, I'm eating fruit, shouldn't be a problem. And my Weight Watchers leader,
Well,
Jeannie, she's fantastic.
when they
but
did my blood the other day, everything was okay but the sugar, and I knew
Yeah.
what it was. I had overeaten blueberries in the morning.
Yeah.
I had ate a whole
and especially if you're a diabetic, you know, I
You're gonna be
mean,
like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn into a big blueberry and pop right out.
Exactly right. But it's.
I see a little red raspberry in you every once in a while when you get pissed off, though.
The blood pressure. You got to be kidding me. And so well, I'm. You know,
and
I'm
blood
supposed
pressure,
to-
stay away from the sodiums.
Well,
The prepackaged food.
mine runs.
pizza.
And oh, yeah, I know it. I know it. You're
Angie, I'm
absolutely
trying.
right. You are right, and
Yeah.
I've been blessed, but you know.
You're doing good though.
Well, for
You're losing
for
weight?
me, for me, I'm doing okay, and for the because of my. I want everybody to be healthy
Exactly.
and everything, and you can't ask everybody else to be healthy
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to take some of the regimen. Now, Bobby has lost. My big Bob that's on here. He went from.
Yeah, he keeps telling me I look fat.
Oh
on
my
camera.
God, he was
Like,
he
thanks,
was
Bob.
over 300 pounds. He was at one point. Now he's at 200. He was sick. He lost a lot of weight, but he's at 200 and stuff like that. And so I mean I make them have dietary control. So I mean I have to seeing I'm the guy that cooks for them all and everything.
But you know we're an area where calories people don't really figure them in is drinks like
Oh,
soda.
exactly.
Oh
yeah,
God!
yeah.
Especially the mixed drinks with the
mixed drinks,
soda.
yeah.
Oh,
We
That's
don't.
horrible.
There's no. We're water people. Actually, I'm into the flavored water.
Oh, I love the seltzers and yeah.
You know.
And there's
and,
seltzer makers you could buy.
Oh yeah.
And you could just make the seltzer at home, which
Exactly.
is a lot cheaper in the long run too. We do that at home also. But I mean, the alcohol. I mean, you could drink a little bit of wine. I mean, even vodka is not saying you should drink, but I mean, if you're going to, wine isn't that
Actually,
bad.
again, my cardiologist, I love her. I'm
she tells
supposed
you
to
you
have
drink
the
wine, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a little wine every day. I don't do that. Usually, when if we go down after our show at at G's, I have wine. I usually have one. Occasionally, Father will have a Frangelico, but not like the old days. But and I. And
Well,
if
that's
I
the other thing. You
really
have to
want
change
to
as
drink,
you get older, too.
I
You adjust
really want
everything.
to. I like a good Scotch, a very good Scotch, once in a while, and that's that's my limit.
Once in a while for like I
Forever-
said, cheats, whatever it
Yep.
is for you,
Yeah.
is fine as long as you don't make the cheat meal a cheat month.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Well, Joe, you've got me back thinking that I'm really get my discipline back around,
Maybe I'll
especially
challenge you
before.
into doing the weigh-in show then.
Oh, that's
come back and do that.
Yeah,
Weigh you in, give you a plan
give you a plan. We
on
weigh in
camera,
on
go over
camera.
with you and do like an online
we get
coaching.
Bonnie,
We
get
got
Bonnie on.
we got our little fighting Finuzio segment. That's where I'm
and then we
supposed to call my weight out here.
Exactly right.
Until
Well, we got to
the week.
we have to email the mayor because he's not responding to. We've said this since he said that he had no takers.
Well,
or
he's
no,
the only person in
but
New London that doesn't
he,
watch our
he
show.
doesn't
It's
watch.
what it is.
Yeah, well,
Well,
he's
I'm not
gonna
saying I
ta-
want him to do this, but I do want him to be fit, so I am helping him train because I do kickboxing.
Well, you do kickboxing. Angie does the martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
What's good is he's talking about it for being a benefit. And
Yeah,
last time I shook hands with him, he talked to me about would I be there. If he remembers, we had one day when the governor was running. The day the governor
There's
ran,
one day of
him and-
peace in New
him-
London,
We had
that's it.
peace. We had peace, and I said that was for the day, and we did. Me and Darryl had peace for the day, and then we went into war mode, and of course, my candidate is Michael Passero, who I think is the number one, the fireman that runs into the fire and solves the problem. So.
we have a lot of problems to solve, obviously.
Oh, yeah. New London's got a lot of problems, and Well, I got a couple of minutes, okay. And do you want to tell our audience anything about your
No,
program?
well,
Okay. Well,
Like I said, go onto my Facebook group and contact me, and I will work with you. I do a lot for free. Like I said, I want to pay it forward. I lost almost 80 pounds the natural way. And
you were on Dr.
40
Odds, were you?
Yes,
Odds.
I was on Dr. Odds
Twice. I was
Yeah,
just going to
for
say
losing weight
before,
too.
right?
On
right.
his Transformation Nation segment, yeah, he did a challenge to
How
America.
long ago was that?
2 years ago now.
2 years
It was a
ago.
long time ago. And I've worked out with Sean T. and Tony Horton, you know, all the big names in
All the
fitness right
big
now. I
names,
met Jillian Michaels. I mean, I met them all. They're fantastic people. And just to pick their brains, I mean, Sean T helped me with my triathlon, and I placed in it. So, I mean, he did a wonderful thing for me.
Wow.
But, you know, I'm just saying, I just want to pay it forward. And if anyone wants to, you know, use me as an online trainer, I could do it anywhere. You know, I mean, that's fine. I'll send you the plans, you know, I'll do everything, and let's see how it goes. I mean, I think that obesity is becoming a huge issue, and it's just getting worse and worse. I'm an MRI tech. I see what people take as medications, and there's long lists of medications everybody takes, high blood pressure meds, you know, diabetes, stuff like that. You lose the weight and get off most of it.
Well,
That's what I want to
we're
say.
gonna have you back.
Yep.
And we're gonna do the show again, and it's a pretty much time for me to run the street, I think, and we're gonna get out of here, right? And we're gonna get Dominic. Thank you for being on, Michelle.
Thank you very much for asking me.
I'm so
You finally
glad
got me on.
I got you on, and we're gonna get you and Bonnie back. Okay, I'm just about ready. Well, I can say good night, and we'll see you next week.